question they asked. I mean, certainly as a remedy, I haven't had a chance to talk with the other candidates about it, but I think at least the minister should be sanctioned somehow, and I think we need to discuss this with the electoral officer about the process and how we go forward.
Have we heard
second ballot?
It's just a statement that says the election wasn't brought up, but I'm wondering what you think of anything was talked about. Obviously, that's against the election, right?
Pardon me?
She said that in a statement that the election wasn't brought up.
Well, I understand that the issue of the Recognition Act was brought up. I wasn't in there, so you have to talk to people in those caucuses, but that was what I understand from people in my campaign team who were in there. And that's definitely an election issue. I don't know if the other candidates want to.
This whole election's about our path forward. We're talking about throwing off the oppression of the Indian Act, the unilateral decision-making of the federal government in favor of nations who are standing in our rights. That federal minister coming into our annual assembly and interfering with our vote by meeting with specific groups over this pipeline issue. They've been dividing our people since the beginning of this debate. That's what they usually do with resource issues. We've got the longest string of political victories in this country, and they divide and conquer. They keep us away from achieving our rights. We need to stand together. Our four candidates are standing together to make sure at least the integrity of our decision political process is protected and honored amongst our people. We do not condone the interference of the federal government, and anyone who does should be accountable to this assembly.
This is a disgusting display of interference. This is what we're talking about, running our own affairs. We don't need the Canadian government to interfere in our elections.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo! This is about free, prior, and informed consent, and that's what we're doing. We're gathering together to pick the best leader for our people, not for Perry Bellegarde. This is another example of how the National Chief and the Liberal Party pat each other on the back. And we saw it here today, and it's disgusting. It's disheartening. We have to find a way to unify for the heart of our people. There's a lot at stake right now, including the lives of our people. We just heard about the death of one of our community members. We're hearing about suicides across this country and all of the disparaging things that are happening to our people, and it's because of tactics like this, the government interfering. They do not want to see change. The government does not want to see change.
Right.
And
Turn on the mic! Turn on the mic!
Turn on the mic.
And the staff here are not helping.
Yeah.
Turn on the
They're
mic!
not
They're not helping at all.
Have you spoken to the electoral officer?
Russ, is there any way
Yes,
this could be
we
adjusted
have
to
spoken
say
to the
toss out these
electoral
results?
officer,
Is
and
there
so
anything
far
in
they
the
wouldn't turn the mics on.
Us as candidates would have to sort it out. I'm not sure if how the rules would deal with that. I mean, we're dealing with the lawyer, the electoral officer's lawyer. His interpretation is it's beyond the scope of the electoral officer because it's not in the voting
Turn on
room.
the mic, Steve.
Okay,
So he says
because
how
she wasn't in the voting room? She
No,
was
it
in-
wasn't. She was in caucus.
Okay, so
So that's what the lawyer for the electoral officer is saying. She wasn't in the voting room, so the electoral officer has no jurisdiction. He's saying if the candidates get together, they might reconsider their position. But we've gone to the co-chairs. They've shut up. And we asked the incumbent Perry Bellegarde, and he says it's up to the electoral officer. When we heard from the lawyer saying no, it's
He didn't
outside
even
the scope.
try and understand what
He
we
wouldn't
were
talk
trying
to
to
us.
say.
You walked away.
He walked away.
Walked away.
And then we tried to come up here to speak to the members. They shut off the mics on us. So, it seems like this system, I don't know, I guess we'd have to have a look at the chart and discuss that.
and are there rules that ban her from, or
Turn on
the
the mic!
federal minister from being
This
here
is
on
about
this?
Turn on the
ethics.
mic!
This is about
Yeah, it's
ethics,
about
whether
ethics.
it says that or not
I
specifically.
mean,
So there's
come
no
on, this is a group funded, the organization's funded by the federal government. The Crown Minister coming here on election day saying what they would like to see or stay the course. I mean, come on. I mean, me personally, you know my position. I say I want fundamental change. I take it personally when the minister comes here and says they want to stay the course. I take that as an affront to me and my participation in this process.
If she went to a banned election and showed up on election day and said the chief is doing good, it would be the same thing as what she did today.
Yeah, that's right.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Interference.
And the incumbent doesn't even want to talk to the rest of us candidates.
No, he doesn't
He
care.
doesn't even want to discuss the issue. He walked away from us.
No, he doesn't care.
But you see us here.
And so for you, this would be an embodiment of the criticism you've all had for him
Exactly.
and
This
the
is
AFN
a
about
perfect
being
example.
too cozy to the federal government.
This is a perfect example
And
of how
it's
cozy
empirical
the two
evidence,
are.
in my opinion.
And it's so blatant, it's in our face.
Yes.
When are we going to have enough of this?
Yeah.
AFN needs to transform itself. This is not the AFN for the people.
Catherine's not standing with you.
She was up
Yes.
there.
yes.
She's supporting us, yes.
But she's, according to them, she's off the ballot now. But she's with us.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. We know how they operate. They go to the good graces and say, we just want to say this and that. The new regional chief is a very nice person, but it's not up to her. It's about what she did. This is a direct attack from the Liberal government to this establishment.
Yeah. Okay, I'm fine with that.